Hey, I'm Sith King.
And I'm Sonic Sons.
And we're the Rambling Reviewers.
And today we're looking at Captain America, the Winter Soldier.
Probably would have been more appropriate a few months ago, but...
The Spring
who am I
Soldier.
Who am I kidding? Last month, because...
Yeah, so much snow.
Chicago.
Yeah, snow. It was good. I think it was better than the first Captain America.
Oh, yeah.
That one was not bad. It was just a little lackluster, I thought.
It fit the trope innocuously important episode.
You think so? Because it set up the Baron
okay,
guy?
it set up Hydra.
Yeah.
For the future part of the story arc.
That's true.
It set up the Tesseract for Avengers.
True.
It set up the fact that the Tesseract was related to Asgard, again, for the Avengers, and with Thor.
Mm-hmm.
It set up the fact that the Tesseract could be used to make could be used to make weapons.
Yeah.
Set up Captain Friggin' America. Bucky Barnes.
Established Howard Stark for good measure. So Bucky Barnes being more important. Yeah, obviously.
Okay. Yeah, it set up a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I guess it did. And then it had that really dumb ending, the first movie. It was,
yeah.
And now I must put this plane into the ocean for no reason. I could totally just turn it around, fly in circles, or come up with another plan. But nope. This heroic sacrifice of doom.
Yeah, there were problems.
That didn't make sense. But Peggy's alive, it turns out, in frigging this movie.
Yeah, but she's like a zillion years old.
She's a zillion years old. And, okay, I missed this. Did she get married to someone else then?
Yeah, she did.
And who is he? He's gone now, I guess.
Apparently.
And then she is kind of senile because suddenly she goes, "You're alive!" And I'm like, he's been here the whole time. Would you, I guess that you have, you're old.
Okay, I suspect that either she was senile or she was just going, "Oh, yay, I can't believe you're alive. This is still just an amazing thing."
I got the idea of the senile, but yeah, all right.
Just a teeny bit. Okay, yeah, we were capping a few
a little
places.
bit.
Okay,
so she's alive, and this movie is more slick than its predecessor. It makes more sense
than its predecessor.
They really put effort into stuff. Like taking I was saying to you a moment earlier, when they're trying to kill Nick Fury. In any lesser movie, they would just like surround him with a bunch of guns and either shoot him right there or take him prisoner and make him a hostage.
But see, those lesser movies would forget one critically important fact.
Yeah.
He's Nick Goddamn Fury, played by Samuel L. Jackson.
And you want to do it. I mean, they do it right. They're like, okay, there's a couple of cops, and there's a bunch of cops, and there's a whole bunch of cops, and then there's a SWAT team, and then there's none of them are really cops, and then they're all shooting, and his car is bulletproof, and then they have like this special ramming thing just to knock out his window, and then just as they do knock it out, he responds with his own machine gun, and then
mounted in-car machine gun. So it's for the one instance in the entire history of the Earth when you would actually need that gun.
Yeah. And then he's driving, and then he has to burst through traffic, and he gets some other guys hit by a car, or a truck rather, and then he gets flipped over by the Winter Soldier, and then I thought he was going to get kidnapped right then, because I'd seen the trailer, and it's like, oh, Fury's upside down in his car, here comes the Winter Soldier. That's when he gets kidnapped, and we have to go rescue him. And then he carves a hole through the ground.
Okay, he carves into the sewer system.
Yeah, but still, through the ground, carves a hole.
Okay, he cuts through the top of his car, moves the chunk out of the way, and probably...
I presume the chunk just fell through into the sewer system then, right?
Well,
the absurdly spacious sewer,
Okay, well, I meant there was probably a manhole cover that he slipped through. Or something.
I thought he just went through the ceiling of the freaking pipe.
No, he's not Simon the Digger.
But he has like this crazy techno thing that apparently does that.
That's called an acetylene torch. Those exist in the real world.
But it's super acetylene this time. Or whatever.
You know what? I'm not going to argue with this one about you.
I mean, it looked like he was like, a chunk of,
have
dirt and like stuff. Like you could see.
He doesn't have a lightsaber.
I think he does.
No, he does not have a lightsaber.
So what did he do? He carved just through the roof of the car then, and there was a manhole cover right there.
Yeah, it's Nick Fury. He probably planned that.
Yeah, all right.
He probably has a time machine somewhere. Went back in time and had the city planners build a manhole cover right there for that exact instance.
Yeah, maybe. And then
please, cutting through the ground. That's so improbable.
And then he goes to Steve's apartment, and Steve is like, "Oh, wait, my radio's on, or the record player's on," and he's smart enough to just go through the window because somebody is
oh
like,
my God, yes.
put a tripwire on his door, and turns out to be, "Oh, we're okay," and then Nick Fury is like, passing notes with, with his cell phone.
Yeah, it's basically a text program on his cell phone, and he's just showing the messages.
And then he gets shot anyway, and the girl down the hall turns into a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, it turns out. Has been that way the whole time, I mean. And then he dies, Nick dies, and then he's not dead, actually. We all knew he wasn't dead.
Okay, let's stick to the plot, okay?
This is telling the plot in order.
Okay.
And part of it.
And so, but before he dies, I'm giving little air quotes.
Yeah, fake dies.
Geez, what was this? Darn, Nick Fury gives Steve a thumb drive, which is apparently a super thumb drive that has all this information.
Yep.
And he goes with Black Widow, because she's in this movie too. Yep. And she... Can you please stop that?
Okay.
I'm sorry. It just feels like you're just whenever you do that, it just...
Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. Anyways, so he goes and he goes with Black Widow to the place where he was trained, and he's able to realize, hey, wait a minute, they don't build munitions bunkers this close to the barracks. Which, if you think about it, that's a pretty good that's a pretty smart thing to do. Should we put the thing that explodes next to our men? Let's go with no. And they find Baron Zemo has been uploaded into an AI in 1950s computers underground.
Comic books.
I love comic books so much. And here's where I kind of start objecting to the plot, because Baron Zemo was this Nazi from the first, Hydra agent from the first one. And he reveals, yes, we infiltrated S.H.I.E.L.D. Since the earliest days, and we were part of Hydra. Hail Hydra! And our plan is to subvert the freedom of all the world. But we found that you can't just take it, you have to make people want to give it up willingly. So, we start engineering the history of the world, blah, 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 to try to make everyone really scared of everything. So that they would willingly give up all their freedom and, install security cameras and let us run our wiretap programs and shit. And here's the part where I get upset again. It's turning the government into the bad guy. Now, don't get me wrong. I am not a fan of the NSA's programs. I am not a fan of wiretapping. I am not a fan of spying on my internet usage. I am not a fan of all of those things. But quite frankly, the government just has been... the government is evil is a trope that has been just beaten into the dirt by this point. I mean, and yes, this was a very timely thing.
Yeah.
With recently the NSA spying thing came out. And yes, I get it. That is a bad thing. But again...
just in terms of fiction, you're tired of the trope. Yeah.
Yes, I'm just tired of the trope in fiction.
Yeah, I suppose it's an easy way to make a whole, who do you trust scenario and so forth.
Yeah.
I was not entirely clear. Is Baron totally okay with getting blown up by a missile?
I kind of figured since he's an AI, he's probably backed up somewhere else.
Yeah.
I mean, they said at the beginning that, backing up your hard drive is a smart thing to do.
Well, yeah.
And you'd figure that if he's such if Baron Zemo is such an important part of the plot, that Pierce was kind of bummed about losing him, then they'd probably have him backed up somewhere.
Yeah, they probably did. It just wasn't entirely clear.
And Zemo has made this computer program that analyzes everyone's past and bank account numbers and stuff and determines who's going to be a threat in the future.
Basically, it's a good guy detector.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then the plan is to shoot all the good guys at the same time.
Which sounds like a really stupid plan when you say it out loud.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a good guy detector and it will shoot you. Okay. When you say it like that, nothing sounds smart. It sounds like something out of the friggin' Care Bears right there. I am Baron Evil, and I have a good guy detector, and it will shoot the good guys.
It does sound a lot better when they talk about algorithms and analysis.
Okay, but yeah. A lot of things just sound better when you spice them up with a little technobabble.
Yeah. Yeah, and the technology in general, there's a lot of, like, from a computer science perspective, I'm like, what exactly are they doing? They trace the location of the file, not the computer location, mind you, but the GPS location of the file. That's
Yeah.
a strange file you have there that has that information attached to it, but
Yeah.
shrug, okay.
I guess computer programs have little transmitters attached to them somehow.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
I don't think we can actually do that. I could be wrong though.
Well, I mean, you could put a physical transmitter in a computer that would send out a signal, or you can also have the thing, just actually use regular GPS and then record its own data. Like your cell phone does that. It records where it's been so it can know what cell phone towers are nearby. So it becomes plausible, but it was still... I could feel just a little bit of hand wavy in there. And now somehow this thing is telling us where to go next for the plot. Just a little bit of that.
Just a little, yeah.
In the meantime, though, they made I love these little aside things, like with the Apple guy. Where are you? Oh no, we're looking at a place to go. We're getting married. Oh, where are you going for your wedding? Looks at the screen. New Jersey.
The guy goes, okay, they're the customers. Now, see, if I was them, I would have said, we have a lot of fond memories of New Jersey or something. Try to convince him.
Yeah. They were a little tense at the moment. They knew the Shia was coming. I can attest, by the way, that is actually how the Apple Store works. Not New Jersey specifically, but people just walk up to you. There's like one employee per every customer. I was like, wow, interesting. Anyway, but there's a bit of product placement for you. We're recording this on a Windows PC.
Suck it. A Toshiba, actually, and we're using a blue snowball to record.
Yeah, nothing to do with Apple as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, suck it, Apple.
Actually, Apple's okay, but...
Okay, well, yeah, I just don't like their...
Yeah, all right.
I don't like their OS, whatever. But anyways, and they credit where it's due. They do a little bit of shipping between
Cap and
Black Widow.
Yeah.
But it doesn't. Nothing comes out of it.
I was glad for that. I was like,
yes.
I mean, in a lesser movie, I was saying earlier, in a lesser movie that would have been simple how you get Nick Fury, and this one, like, it was a big deal, right? In a lesser movie, they would have succumbed to this old, very common temptation of, okay, just
we have a male lead and a female lead. Let's have them.
About 10 minutes before the final action scene, could they take off their shirts and, like, implied sexy time and... like, that has to happen in so many movies. And this is like, no, freaking no. She wants him to date some other girl who she thinks would be a better fit. Thank you. That's more realistic.
And her life is kind of messed up as is. So she's like, yeah.
No. I like she
like
kissed him on the cheek at the end. Like, thank you. Okay, that's something different than the standard big makeout scene at the end. Win the girl's heart type of. Forget it. I like that.
Oh, yeah, me too. Definitely.
And I like that Cap had some trouble finding romance. He's like, it's hard to find a shared life experience with a lot of people. And in the beginning, he had that little list of, like, things to do, like Star Wars, like Thai food, everything I miss,
Okay, let's see. Everything in the last 70 years. God damn it.
Yeah.
God damn it, history. Why did you have to do things?
I like these little notes like that. I like that okay, what's his name? Falcon. I'm gonna just call him Falcon.
Yeah.
He was hosting like a meeting for PTSD sufferers or something similar to that. So like little notes of realism and compassion, and we don't just have to be like the cool action guy all the time. Like there's other sides to people.
Yeah.
It wasn't like super deep, but it was intelligent. It
was intelligent. It showed that this is
like you
a real
actually
thing.
Put some work into this script.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Okay, so the whole reason why it's called The Winter Soldier is based on a storyline in the classic series about Bucky Barnes. In the actual Marvel comics, Bucky Barnes was Captain America's little kid teen sidekick who stumbled upon Cap's secret identity and said, let me go with you or I'll tell someone or something, I guess. In the accident that froze Cap in the ice, by which I mean he was stopping a friggin' bomb, he had to choose between stopping a flying bomb from attacking America and
sacrificing himself or just going in circles, but he didn't think of that. So.
Okay, no.
In the comics.
In the comics, it was an actual flying bomb. He couldn't have done anything else.
Ah, I see.
And so he was actually lost and frozen in the Arctic Ocean with a good reason.
Okay.
But he had to leave Bucky to die. Funny story. The Russians found Bucky, set him up as their brainwashed assassin and sent him out after targets. And a few years ago, they finally revealed this. Bucky escaped from being the Winter Soldier. Then when Cap died, he became the new Captain America, but then stepped down when the old Captain America came back.
Which is a weird storyline, by the way.
Yeah, I don't even...
Very,
No,
very
we're not
weird.
getting into that. We're not getting into that. But I honestly don't know much about it. Here, Baron Zemo captured Bucky. Then Bucky was retrained as a Hydra kill agent, working for S.H.I.E.L.D., Hydra S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah,
Whatever. Yeah. And gets electroshock therapy anytime he tries to start remembering things.
That sounds...
This sounds very weird.
That sounds... No, I was just thinking about that last bit. You're like, where did I put my keys? Electroshock therapy. Don't remember things. So I think we took this too far.
A little bit. What are these things called? He's trying to remember. Those are fingers, you ass. But
So inform me though. Did Bucky have any sort of super soldier serum similar to Cap? Did he's just some just a kid with a gun?
in the comics, he was just a kid with a gun.
Okay, so considering that, why would you take your enemy's sidekick and make him your super soldier when you could take someone who's actually loyal to you and make that guy a super soldier?
Well, I think they tried that with the Red Skull, and that didn't work.
What happened when they tried that with the Red Skull?
He got his Red Skull.
So why didn't it work? Why did it work better with Bucky?
I don't know. Maybe it was a different thing.
Different
they were trying
thing
to do.
they did.
Plus,
No.
maybe he wanted to. Maybe Baron Zemo wanted to find out how it worked before he tried it on someone that he actually liked.
Also, maybe he just loved the dramatic irony, which is the real reason why it happened. Right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's the right. And from the writer's perspective, I mean. But so that made a nice little thing. It wasn't like super deep, but still, you could. No, I know you, Bucky. I don't want to fight you. Okay,
Yeah, which-
something in there, which has been done before, but it's something.
Okay, so then Cap, after the big fight with Bucky, they escape with the help of Agent Maria Hill, who was in Avengers. And they go and find that, yay, Nick Fury's alive. Yeah, like we actually thought he was dead.
Yeah.
Oh, please, they brought back Coulson from the dead, so.
Yeah, we all knew he would come back, but honestly, it was okay. They didn't stake. I mean, like the plot kind of depends on. Oh no, we think he's dead. But you, as the audience member, didn't have to believe it because everything else was cool anyway.
Yeah.
You know.
And then they say, okay, we found out the secret plan. Baron Zemo, when he was an AI, devised this algorithm that would pinpoint who would be trouble. It was the good guy detector, and
Yep.
they would shoot them.
Yep.
And we invented these S.H.I.E.L.D. helicarriers, and let me say, cool airship does not begin to describe these things.
Yeah.
I would love to have had one of these in the, in one of the upcoming films, just because
I bet they will be.
it's made of it's a flying aircraft carrier made of guns.
and I love the comment. See, these little notes are so important. The comment on the repulsor lifts. Like, yeah, Tony Stark decided he had a few ideas after he got a close-up view of them last time. Which in Avengers, like, he nearly got his head chopped off by those things.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm gonna give you guys repulsor lifts.
Yeah, they don't kill you.
They don't kill
normally.
me anyway.
And they had like those shield things, shield flying machines with they had the rotor things, and some guy died because he got thrown into them.
Yeah. Like the basically Pelicans if you play Halo.
Yeah. They were Helicans. I think they're supposed to be like the Quinjet or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, but we'll call them Pelicans because they reminded me more.
Was Quinjet the X-Men jet? Or is that just called
No,
the X-Jet?
that's the X-Jet.
All right.
The Quinjet was the Avengers flying machine.
All right.
But yeah, so they have to replace all the targeting computers on all three of the helicarriers so that they don't kill 20 million people.
Yeah, that's. Are all those people on the East Coast? I'm guessing there'd be some good guys elsewhere in the world.
Well, yeah, but
They're gonna walk around for a while and shoot
Yeah.
people and.
although you'd think that like some of the other nations would be like, yeah, no.
I
Just
can
them.
only assume that these things have some sort of nuke protection system because otherwise it's like and nuke. I mean, not
yes,
while they're in the area.
We've shot everyone in New York. Now right. There are
Yeah.
other countries in the world. That explains why 20,000 missiles just hit our helicarriers. Yeah,
That
we
would
didn't
actually be
think of
kind
that.
of cool, though. Imagine that storyline where the bad guys, win to that degree, and they know in advance that they're gonna be pwned, but like, whatever, we'll kill as many good guys as we can, I mean, that would make a very dark story, but like, that'd be kind of an interesting story, entirely separate from this one. Yeah, so lots of action and jetpacks.
Yeah, Falcon, we didn't talk much about him. He wasn't a super huge character. He impacted the story definitely, and it was nice to see him in here. Honestly, I don't think that it was that efficient. I mean, you have Tony Stark building repulsor jetpacks. I think the U.S. military could find some way of making a man fly that didn't involve giant angel wings.
Rule of cool.
Okay, yes, it is rule of cool.
I know what you're saying.
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
And unlike the last thing we reviewed, Star Hunter, they do know how to shoot people.
Now, there was a delay, though, with Pierce, which, as soon as Black Widow revealed herself, that was really cool. That they had the Security Council had previously been there in holograms, and they show up in person to witness the, launching of the Inspiration Project. And then one of the Security Council ladies just suddenly becomes badass and bones everyone in the room. And then it was revealed to be Black Widow, and you're like, oh, that makes sense. But for a second there, I was like, whoa, freaking random character is badass.
I so wanted that random Security Council lady to be like, yeah, this is actually what I do and who I am.
She could totally be like,
I was selected by Nick Fury, bitch.
she could pwn everybody, and and Fury could just pause for a second and be like, and you still don't want to go out with me? Like, nah, you're not good enough for me.
I have standards, Fury.
Standards. But then so for a second there, we've got Pierce at gunpoint. We could have shot him, but we didn't. I guess we did need his retinal scan thing.
Yeah, we did need his retinal scan.
Though you'd think that everyone else in the room would count as a senior officer. They are the World Security Council, aren't they?
Yeah, point.
And then he gets his iPhone out, and he's like, zap, and, I killed everyone, except I didn't kill Black Widow for some reason, which he could have done with the same button press.
Well, if he killed Black Widow, he wouldn't have had a hostage, and then Nick would just shoot him in the head.
That's true. See, they did think of these things a bit. But...
although personally, I would have killed Black Widow and taken one of the older, feeble members of the council who is incapable of defending.
One of them hostage. Yeah, that might be a thing. Whatever. But these are, pretty much. They did eventually just freaking shoot him, and then we got to see that nice shot of him alone on the floor, bleeding out. And
he whispers, "Hail Hydra."
Yeah.
And very creepy. Oh, remember the senator who pinned the medal on Tony's chest in Iron Man 2?
Yes.
Yeah, that's... okay, he was one of the guys who was leading the Senate hearing at the beginning of Iron Man 2.
Okay.
And then later he's...
Yeah, I saw
at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Okay, he was one of the Hydra
Yeah,
agents.
I noticed that, yeah. I noticed that guy, yeah, when he said it to the other dude. I am a little confused about this data on this boat.
At the beginning of the movie, it opens with Captain America and a bunch of Black Ops soldiers going in and fighting Batroc the Leaper.
Yeah.
And I'm a big Batroc fan.
Because he's so ridiculous, usually.
The concept of this guy is just so silly, and yet he's considered a super dangerous foe. His power, this is his only power in the comics.
Yep.
He dresses in a very silly yellow and purple costume, and then he jumps. That is his power.
Yep.
He jumps a lot.
Yep.
And he speaks with a French accent.
Yep.
My God, do I love this guy. He's just... This is a world where Captain America has dealt with Nazis, with Hydra, with Doctor Doom. And Batroc is just still doing this. And he's like, I'm Batroc, bitch. And he jumps. He's just so one note that you can't help but love him.
Yeah, well, they made the badass version of him for this one. Yeah. He doesn't jump. He
kickboxes, and it is just great. He manages to keep Captain America off balance for a little bit.
Yeah,
that's impressive. I like to think. Okay, but anyway, so yeah, Batroc takes control of this shield boats.
And one of the Hydra guys is one of the hostages on that ship.
Yeah.
And Black Widow's mission that she doesn't tell Cap about is to get some data off the ship, which is weird that you would need to get any data off the ship when it was your own ship. Did they have some special data that you didn't have any backups or something? And then it turns out what they had was the algorithm. So it couldn't have been something like this ship just picked up recently and they needed to get it now. It was like they've been working on that for years, right? It's back in that base in New Jersey.
However, I would also argue that if S.H.I.E.L.D. was compromised to the degree that it was, then Nick Fury probably couldn't just walk onto the boat and say, and check out the data. If there were Hydra agents on there, they'd probably either A, try to stop him, or B, delete the data before, or move it off-site before he could get there.
So I guess the implication is that Fury suspected Hydra infiltration even before that weird thing where he was locked out of his own flash drive.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't entirely clear. Especially when
it's Black Ops stuff. It's not really supposed to be entirely clear.
Well, no, but it could be made clear to the audience if he doesn't say it to anybody.
That is a good
he's about
point.
to launch this freaking Insight program.
Yes.
And if he thinks that there are enemies among him, this would be not a good plan. Don't launch these things if we've compromised our security.
And he did,
which he does, but he doesn't do that until after the bit where he's locked out. I mean, it's a pretty small point, honestly. I mean, I get it. He was a little bit suspicious, and then he got more suspicious, and then he said we need to delay Insight. But just a little. Was it important that they gave that flash drive to the Baron? Like, he wakes up when they plug it in, but I guess he could have woken up anyway, right?
Right.
So that was just kind of unnecessary.
Maybe, but it made for a really cool scene.
Yeah, it was cool.
Baron Zemo is easily one of my favorite new characters in this movie, just because it's an AI made by the backup of a mind of a man, and the computer is run by 1970s technology.
Yeah.
So you see these tape reels running in the background, and it's running this guy's brain.
You're standing inside my brain. Yeah. I like when Cap got mad and punched the screen, and then he just pops up on another screen. As I was saying.
Yeah, because that's the thing that really bugs me in fiction. It's like, I've destroyed the computer screen. Clearly, I have destroyed the computer. And I was about to say, yes, you've destroyed the computer screen. Now it's all stopped. And then he popped up anyway, and I was like, oh, I don't need to say anything.
Yeah. I was going to say... he goes on for a bit with, like, let me reveal the master plan, which I was thinking is a little cliche, but...
Given that there was literally a cruise missile headed straight for his face...
Yeah, so that became better. Like, okay, so you're actually stalling for
time. Yeah.
And then I liked, after they're climbing out of the rubble, there are actual S.H.I.E.L.D. aircraft coming by to see if they're, actually got killed. And I was like, okay, they're being thorough about it.
Yeah.
They're putting their effort into this.
Mm-hmm.
Good for
Definitely. Yeah.
What else was I gonna say?
Okay, so they mentioned like a whole bunch of. There's a lot of little details in there that was really interesting. Like one of the names the Hydra guy revealed they were going to kill was Stephen Strange.
Yeah. I was like, whoa, is he popping up in Avengers 2?
Okay,
maybe Avengers 3?
For those who don't know, Stephen Strange, also known as Doctor Strange, also known as the Sorcerer Supreme of planet Earth in the main comics.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is the single most powerful magical entity in humanity.
Yeah.
I think they've been shuffling things around lately, and it's
Brother
comics.
Voodoo became the Sorcerer Supreme for a while.
Yeah, but I think he might be back. So
Yeah.
I am not. Again, I don't know because it's comics. How do you keep track of these things?
You don't. Well, no, I'll tell you how. By buying all of them, and then they still don't add up. And then there's a retcon. And then Joe Quesada messes up everything.
And then Joe Quesada sells another marriage to Mephisto.
Man, that was a bad... One more day, people, in comic history. So bad.
Yeah, some people would say the DC reboot is equally as bad, but you know what? We're not here to discuss that.
I was thinking what occurred to me just recently was so they have to change these chips in all 3 helicarriers, and it's revealed that when they do that, they all shoot each other.
Okay.
But once you have 2 helicarriers, they could just shoot the third one by themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they could shoot each other, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. If it was like, no, we need all 3. Now, I just assume maybe there's like some sort of security thing.
Well,
they
okay,
have to
I thought of the
cooperate.
reason why.
Why?
Because while the other 2 are shooting the third helicarrier will be raining railgun death on the populace below.
True, but they got the first 2 like 3 minutes in advance of the third one actually going live.
Oh, okay,
remember?
I got that.
Cap was still running around fighting Bucky. Like, you just shoot them all right now. But
I was honestly
Yeah.
expecting that. Honestly, I didn't expect them to shoot each other.
Mm.
I expected the computer chips to reverse the Xeno program,
bad guy detector.
and it would shoot the Hydra agents.
Would have been cool. But they're being clever the way they build this universe. With the references for one thing, but also like, okay, so we have these, super helicarrier things, but they get blown up by the end of the movie, and in a way that's dramatically appropriate. So they don't become like, the automatic win button for Avengers 2. Like, bring out the Uber helicarriers.
Okay, well, if it's Uber helicarriers in Avengers 2, Avengers 2, The Age of Ultron,
Oh, that's true. That wouldn't work out so
where
well.
an AI takes control of the world.
But you know what I mean, though. They're trying to keep it balanced.
But still, I can see why you'd want more of those, especially considering the Chitauri invasion back in Avengers.
Yeah. And I can see why you want less of those, especially considering Hydra infesting everything. It's this awkward balance thing they are going for.
Yeah, I mean,
which is a good point of tension.
Nick Fury back in Avengers made an excellent point. Humanity locating the Tesseract and the Asgardians falling to Earth and having their little grudge match in the middle of New Mexico indicates to the rest of the galaxy that Earth is ready for a higher form of war.
Yeah.
Meaning that, they have to be... Earth right now cannot withstand an alien invasion.
Not really.
Okay, a smart alien invasion. The Chitauri were kind of a stupid alien
They
invasion.
had that whole Phantom Menace thing going on with the destroy the mothership and all the soldiers die.
Yes, but more importantly, they also had the thing of they're trying to conquer a planet of 6 billion people when, quite frankly, their tech stuff didn't seem that impressive. Agent Romanoff and Cliff Barton, Black Widow and Hawkeye were able to take those out with bow and arrow and handguns. They were able to kill off legions of Chitauri soldiers. So all you'd need to do is set up a military cordon and keep pouring in the fire
them.
into the wormhole until the Chitauri go away.
Yeah, that's always a hard thing for comics because they got to make sure that the heroes are the ones who can deal with this and nobody else, and not like, really, we have nukes. No, we can't use a nuke.
We have assault rifles. We
Like,
have lasers.
how many millions of people we could potentially call up into the military if we wanted to.
Yeah, we have that whole thing of
Yeah.
Switzerland's pretty terrifying in and of itself. Seriously, have you heard about that? Like, back in World War II, Hitler said, Hitler knew that everyone in Switzerland was a trained rifleman. Their army was like 2 million people. The German ambassador said, oh, but Germany has 4 million. What are you going to do then? The Swiss ambassador said, fire twice and go home. Dude, do not fuck with the Swiss.
And their army knives.
And their cheese.
And their cheese.
And their chocolate.
But they kind of got rid of S.H.I.E.L.D. I presume it's not gone forever, but major disruption. Even Fury burned his stuff, burned the eye patch, put on some sunglasses. He's going to go to Europe and do stuff. I'm not sure what. So it's like, as of Avengers 2, that's, not going to be around, at least in the same way. So that's neat. That sets up these changes. Now, of course, some of the things they set up for Avengers 1, they just had to ignore because they set up too many things, remember? Mm-hmm. It was like, Thor is gone. No, wait, he's back. No, Tony can't be an Avenger. Oh, wait, yes, he can. We can't do all these plotlines at once, guys. Mm-hmm. But whatever, they are building a world here.
I still have to see Thor. We still have to see Thor: Dark World.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. So.
Which, given how important Asgardians were to the mythology of Avengers, it had an Asgardian bad guy. The technology they were fighting over, the Tesseract, was Asgardian in nature.
Yep.
The whole thing that set up the plot was the fact that Earth was freaking out over the fact that Asgardians were dueling in the middle of New Mexico and sent an Asgardian superweapon to try to eliminate one of said Asgardians. Asgardians. That's a fun word to say.
Yeah, but they're doing a clever job with linking all this stuff together, but you don't really need to see it. Like, if you had not seen any other Marvel Cinematic Universe movie, you could still follow this one. Really?
Yeah,
you could.
true.
Yeah. You might be a little weird, like, okay, so I guess Cap was frozen for some reason. That'd be a little vague. But then you just get over it, I think, and like, okay, he's here now, you know.
You know what's weird to think about?
Huh.
There are more movies in the Marvel Cinematic Universe than there are in Star Wars.
Wow, movie franchises have gotten big, haven't they?
Yeah, I think this is the largest movie franchise in recent memory.
How many? Yeah, what is it, like 12?
Okay, well, okay, it started out with Iron Man.
Uh-huh.
Then, next one was Incredible Hulk. Thor was in there somewhere. Iron Man 2,
Totally
Captain America.
Googling it as we go to films. One, two,
Avengers,
3, 4, 5,
Iron Man
6,
3,
7,
Thor
8,
Dark World,
9.
Winter Soldier.
So we've had 9 out so far, and then 10, 11, 13, 14.
Oh, dude, Guardians of the Galaxy is going to be there. We saw an ad for
Yeah,
that
I was on
before
for
this.
that. That was interesting. I'm not entirely sure what they're going
Okay,
for, but
Guardians
it
of
was offbeat in a good way, I think.
Guardians of the Galaxy originally was about how in the year 3000, Earth was conquered by a race of aliens called the Badoon. And Earth had spread out colonies to a bunch of the outer planets and inner planets. And they were a rebellion group fighting the Badoon. But eventually they kind of turned into people from the future who fight to save the Earth.
Oh, all right. Then.
So I don't actually know.
What this movie will be about.
No, I don't know any of the...
Yeah.
The Guardians of the Galaxy that I saw was the original Guardians of the Galaxy. Those were the books we have in my local library. So I don't know any of them, but quite frankly, I saw an Ent, a giant dude, what looks like a hacker with a smart-ass personality, a green-skinned chick who was pretty hot, and
They always do that, don't they?
and a raccoon with a Gatling gun.
Yeah, it sounds like a fun movie.
Yeah, I'm going for the raccoon with a Gatling gun climbing all over the Ent. Seriously,
Yeah.
animals with Gatling guns is always amazing.
Conker's Bad Fur Day. There's an old memory.
Wow, memory we'd like to forget. But
Well, that's some fun with it.
I am the great mighty Pooh, and I'm going to throw my shit at you.
See, that wasn't referring to that part, but whatever.
It's the only part of Conker's Bad Fur Day that I actually know.
Oh, well, there you go.
And
I'd
congratulations,
not
I'm
actually
now
got
on
that.
record singing the Great Mighty Pooh song on the internet.
Oh, it's a fun world.
Yeah, okay,
All right,
so
so Captain America Winter Soldier was
very good movie.
Yeah,
I advise going to see it,
that's good.
but I also advise going to see most of the Cinematic Universe movie.
Yeah, I mean, might as well. They're mostly good, but if you want to skip one of them, you can. They're modular that way. It's nice. It's like Legos, kind of. You know
Yeah, like Legos. You know, it helps if you have more. It helps if you have more of the pieces, but at the same time, you don't need all of them.
yeah, it's not gonna fall apart.
Well, okay, certain pieces you might
Certain
need,
pieces,
but whatever.
I think we're about done, yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, we are.
Pretty good movie.
Yeah, pretty good movie. Anyways, I'm Sith King,
And I'm Sonic Sons.
and we're signing off.